Hello class, Ed Knudsen here. I'm going to do a presentation on some awesome versions and interfaces of Linux that I have come to work with on a regular basis. First up, we have the Red Hat Linux 8.0 distribution of Linux. This was the last version of Red Hat that was free. After that, Red Hat switched to only a paid system with their operating systems. You can check out Red Hat Enterprise Linux, which is their paid version, at redhat.com/RHEL. At the school, we're going to end up using an enterprise version of Red Hat for our vCloud project, which will be the successor to VMware Lab Manager that so many of you have probably come to experience in our department so far. As I said, this is the last free distribution of Red Hat. It's pretty old. It's from the early 2000s. Corporations are very fond of Red Hat. It is a very stable operating system, and that is why they're able to charge money for it. In case any of you are wondering why my slides are so short, it's because most of my presentation I would like to be hands-on. So this is Red Hat 8.0. I have the GNOME installation here. You see it's got a lot of server stuff here. It's got a basic desktop for you to use. It might look kind of old. That is because it is pretty old. It's kind of like using Windows XP in a way. Something that we've been using it for in our classes is the web programming class. We've actually made this into a fully functioning web server, and I actually have my own web pages here. You can see the www directory here, and I have some web pages in here. You can open it up. See, I got just a basic Hello World web page here. You can do this with most distributions of Linux. It's just that our book is based around this version. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because a lot of you are probably familiar with this distribution of Linux. Next up, I have the Chromium operating system. As you may know, this is a distribution that was created by Google. It is only based on the Linux kernel. It is not, in fact, a distribution of Linux specifically. Google used it in their new Chromebooks. These are a netbook type computer that Google had been releasing. I don't think that they have any of them that they're charging people for. It was just free Chromebooks that they were distributing, mostly to developers and people who wanted to check out the operating system. Basically, all the operating system is a web browser, and that's why you get great battery life on these netbooks. You don't need a lot of operating hardware. You don't need a lot of great hardware to run the operating system. It boots very, very fast. Supposedly, the Chromebooks would boot in about 6 seconds. You could have it all the way booted up, and then you just log in and you can start using your web browser. The reason it's so useful is because of Google's new cloud type system that they've been implementing with most of their services. You can even do document editing inside of Google Docs online through the browser. It's available at www.chromium.org, and the way I was able to get a copy of it was I went to chromeos.hexa.net, and you can get VM builds of Chromium, so I didn't actually have to go and get a netbook for free. I have this virtual machine sitting here powered off, just so you can see exactly how quick the VM boots. It's a very fast boot time, and it would reflect the same on a piece of hardware as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So within 10 seconds on my virtual machine. I'm sure it would be a lot harder, or a lot faster working on hardware that it's familiar with. This is the default login for this distribution. can restore some web pages here. Okay, and this is how it does updates for Java. I'm thinking that they'd probably have a better interface in the future when it's released to the public. Right now it's more of a developer stage. If you click here, this is some of the Chromium default bookmarks, things you can use. You can see there's Gmail. They got like some games. You can go and play Tetris online. Basically, all these are links to web pages. There's not even an application that is embedded in the operating system. Basically, all you can do is you can change like the area you are, your time, your power options, your internet settings, and that's about it. But it is a very fast and easy to use and low power operating system. Next up, I'm introducing you to one of my favorite distributions of Linux. It is Backtrack Linux 5 R1. That's the newest release of Backtrack Linux. It is what they call a penetration testing operating system. Penetration testing means that you are testing your network or some of your operating systems on your network to see if they are basically hackable. You can see how that might be useful if you were dealing with something like credit cards in your organization. You have to know how an attacker might go about breaking into your organization, and then you can turn around once you realize that hole, and you can try to keep them from being able to exploit that. Backtrack Linux comes with many tools. One of the great benefits of it is there's a lot of educational material available through Backtrack Linux. I'll try and show you some of that very quickly. It is the highest rated package of tools for penetration testing, and on their website they come with pre-configured VMs. You can just download the VM in a zip file and deploy it. You can get that at backtracklinux.org. So this is Backtrack. I have opened my web browser here. This is the Greenborn Security Assistant. What I use it for is to access their they used to bundle this network scanning device called Nessus with this distribution, and since the last release, they've switched to only bundling a different scanner called OpenVAS because it's open source. They stopped bundling Nessus because it was not an open source option for network scanning. What these devices will do is they will scan machines that you point them at on your own network, and they will check them for vulnerabilities. So you don't actually have to do any manual hacking of any sort. It will tell you exactly what the vulnerabilities are on your machine, and it will tell you exactly what you can do to fix those flaws. It would also tell you how a hacker may go about exploiting those flaws. So you can see here I did a scan on a VM. What I did was there's a VM online called Metasploitable, and that's a prepackaged VM that has a bunch of vulnerabilities already on it, and you can find guides online that will show you exactly how to go about exploiting those exploits that are already there. It makes it easy to talk to somebody in a community online about what you're exploiting because everybody's using the same operating system that they're testing their tools against. I'll show you the main tool that most people use in Backtrack, and that is called Metasploit. And to load it, you just type msf console and just press enter. And while this is loading, I will show you some of the applications that come pre-installed. Under Backtrack, this is everything that they have on here, and there's some great stuff here. You can gather information on your network. You can test for vulnerabilities. There's some tools for actually exploiting some of those vulnerabilities, so you can see how a hacker might do that, or you can even see if an exploit might even work against the hole that it says is open. You can escalate privileges once you have already become part of the system. Once you've found a way into the system, you can see how a person might escalate some privileges. You can see how somebody might do some tunneling You could test it out and see if it would work on your system. You can reverse engineer some things here. It's got some stuff for RFID, stress testing, some great tools, and it also has some great educational tools on here too. You can see it comes with most of the tools that come with a normal Ubuntu distribution, because it actually is a distribution of Ubuntu. And this is Metasploit here. Next up, we'll do a short presentation on Ubuntu Desktop. It is easy to use. It is very compatible with many systems. It is often updated, and very significantly, usually with their updates. They're a very big update. They have a software center that is very easy to use. It has beautiful interfaces, and it's available at ubuntu.com. I'll try not to spend a lot of time on this as well, because you may have seen Ubuntu before. It's pretty popular. This is their new login screen for Ubuntu 11.10. It's pretty cool. I made this install specifically for the Android class that's coming up. I'm making an environment where people can program for Android phones, basically just in a VM here. You can see here, this is their new interface they have. It's called Unity. A lot of people like it, a lot of people don't. You just type in something here. It's a lot like the Windows 7 interface. You can just type in what you want and it'll come up. You see here, I'm starting to type in terminal, and it's coming up there. Another popular thing of Ubuntu is the Software Center. I'll show you that real quick here. You see here it comes with LibreOffice. That is a new distribution of OpenOffice. It was a fork. Once Oracle bought out OpenOffice and Java, LibreOffice broke off and became the open source alternative, the completely open source alternative that wasn't owned by Oracle. See here the Software Center is loading up. Now you can just type in whatever you want. I'm going to type in Spotify, and it's already searching, and oh, it didn't even find it. That's very interesting. Chrome, I bet it has at least something of Chrome here. Here's the Chromium web browser. And then there's some other stuff that popped up here too. So it's very helpful. You don't have to go to any websites to get any sort of software. You can just download it straight from here. It looks like it even does magazines. Pretty interesting. I have to go even faster now. This is the SIFT workstation from Sans Computer Forensics. It is a massive toolkit of computer forensics tools. It works cross-platform. You can analyze images from hard drives of Linux computers or Windows computers. And it comes with pre-configured VMs on their website as well. This is a website you can go to get this tool, or this operating system. This is SIFT Workstation, and it comes with some a little cheat sheet on the desktop here. It comes with some tools here. You can see in forensics there are some tools here. There's something pre-installed on it called Super Timeline. What you can do is you can take an image of a Windows drive. You can pull off all of the information, like the registry keys and stuff. I'll show you a cat of a file that I made with Super Timeline. It's going to be streaming across here for a while, and everything in here, it shows everything that the user has done. You can even see that when they put in a flash drive, what files they copied. And you can go back through here with Super Timeline. You can put it all into one timeline, so you can see exactly what they did along a period of time. And you can even take that information to court, where a lot of these people use this for actual court cases and legislation, things like that. Well, I suppose not legislation, just court cases. I'll talk briefly about Fedora. It is at fedoraproject.org. It has a great virtual machine manager called Virt Manager that I won't be able to show you today. It is a very easy to use desktop. It is stable, and it's sponsored by Red Hat. It's their free version. Instead of Red Hat desktop, they now have Fedora. It has very helpful software pre-installed. Just to be extremely quick here, this is Fedora. It comes pre-installed with some basic software, as you might expect from most of the Linux distributions that have desktops. It's pretty straightforward. I can't tell you much more than that. Last up we have Linux Mint. It is elegant. It's fourth widely used operating system. They are very conservative about their updates, so it doesn't ruin the operating system. And this is Mint.